Imagine walking into a room and within seconds, before a single word is spoken, a judgment has already been made. Not a slow, thoughtful evaluation, a snap decision, one that sticks. That is the invisible power of a first impression, and it happens faster than most people realize. Research in social psychology confirms that the human brain forms initial judgments in as little as 7 seconds, sometimes even in milliseconds. In that blink of time, one factor consistently rises above the rest. It is not confidence. It is not wit. It is cleanliness. The brain snap judgment system. To understand why cleanliness matters so much, in those first moments, it helps to understand how the brain actually works during a first encounter. When two people meet for the first time, the amygdala, a small almond-shaped structure deep in the brain, instantly begins processing emotional cues. It scans the environment and the person in front of it, asking one primal question: is this safe or not? This process is known as thin slicing. It is the brain's ability to extract meaningful conclusions from very small amounts of information in a very short time. Psychologist Nalini Ambadi at Stanford University studied this phenomenon extensively, showing that these rapid judgments are hardwired into human biology. They happen without conscious thought, and they carry surprising weight. What feeds into thin slicing? Appearance, body language, scent, and environmental cues all play a role. Among these, cleanliness communicates something deeply instinctive. Evolutionarily, the human disgust response developed as a defense mechanism. Early humans who could quickly detect contamination, dirty food, unclean surroundings, poor hygiene, survived longer. That same biological alarm system still runs in modern brains, connecting visible cleanliness directly to feelings of safety, trust, and competence. A person or space that appears clean signals control and order. A cluttered, unkempt appearance triggers subtle but powerful feelings of doubt. Cleanliness as a social signal. The connection between cleanliness and perception goes far beyond basic biology. Society has built layers of meaning around it. Clean clothing, well-groomed hair, and fresh personal hygiene are not just markers of good habits, they are signals of self-respect, discipline, and awareness. When someone walks into a room looking polished and well-kept, observers do not just register that they look nice. They make inferences. They assume this person is organized. They assume this person is reliable. They assume this person cares about quality. This is not a conscious checklist people run through. It is automatic. Studies consistently show that well-groomed individuals are perceived as more conscientious, more competent, and more trustworthy before they have even introduced themselves. The opposite is equally true. Wrinkled clothes, dirty fingernails, or an unkempt appearance immediately lower how others rate a person's capabilities. People subconsciously link an inability to manage one's appearance with an inability to manage responsibilities. This dynamic extends far beyond personal appearance. In business settings, the cleanliness of a physical space carries the same social weight. A tidy, well-maintained office or store signals professionalism and attention to detail. A dirty or disorganized space triggers doubt, even if the products or services being offered are excellent. Clients and customers make those snap judgments the moment they walk through a door, and research confirms that a cluttered environment can cost trust before a single conversation begins. One study found that job candidates who interviewed in tidy environments received significantly higher competency ratings than those in cluttered spaces. The environment was different. The candidates were the same, yet the perception shifted dramatically based on cleanliness alone. The primacy effect and why it lasts. One of the most important concepts in understanding first impressions is the primacy effect. This is the psychological tendency to give more weight to the first information received about a person, even when later information contradicts it. In other words, whatever impression forms in those first seconds becomes a mental anchor. Everything that comes after gets filtered through it. If a person appears clean, confident, and put together at the start of a meeting, small mistakes they make later are often forgiven or overlooked. But if the initial impression is negative, if they seem disheveled, unclean, or careless, it takes a significant amount of effort to change that perception. The brain has already built a framework, and it resists updating. This is compounded by confirmation bias. Once an impression is formed, people naturally seek out evidence that confirms it. A positive first impression leads observers to notice the positives that follow. A negative one causes them to notice and remember the negatives. This is why the stakes of a first encounter are so high, and why cleanliness, as one of the most immediately visible cues available, plays such an outsized role in shaping the lasting story someone tells about another person. In professional settings, this has real consequences. Hiring managers frequently report forming opinions about candidates within the first minute of an interview. Teachers develop expectations about students early on, and those expectations can influence outcomes for the entire school year. Customers decide whether to trust a business in the time it takes to walk from the entrance to the front counter. In all of these situations, cleanliness acts as the first chapter of a story that once started is very hard to rewrite. How cleanliness shapes professional and personal success. The implications of all this are both practical and profound. In the professional world, people who consistently present themselves and their environments in a clean, organized manner enjoy measurable advantages. They are rated as more capable. They attract more opportunities. They are more likely to be trusted with responsibility. These are not superficial rewards. They translate into career advancement, stronger professional networks, and lasting reputations. First encounters between strangers, early dates, and new social introductions all carry the invisible weight of cleanliness cues. People form rapid opinions about a new acquaintance's character and values partly based on how that person presents themselves physically. A clean, well-maintained appearance communicates that someone values the occasion and respects the people they are meeting. It signals intentionality. Beyond how others perceive a person, research also points to how cleanliness affects an individual's own mental state. People who maintain tidy personal spaces and grooming routines report lower stress levels, better emotional balance, and greater confidence in social interactions. Clean environments have been shown to reduce the stress hormone, cortisol, promote a sense of calm, and sharpen focus. This means that practicing cleanliness does not just change how others see a person, it changes how that person shows up in the world. The lesson is not that life demands perfection. Nobody expects a flawless, spotless existence at every moment. What cleanliness communicates is effort and intention. It says that a person is aware, that they care, and that they hold themselves to a standard. In the seconds before any words are exchanged, that message lands first. First impressions are not just surface-level judgments. They are the foundation upon which relationships, reputations, and opportunities are built. And cleanliness, far from being a minor detail, is one of the loudest signals a person can send before they ever open their mouth.